going on, guys? This is your old pal CHH. So this is actually a pretty fun video I wasn't expecting to be able to make. So the name of the video was something silly, but it was probably called something like I bought LASERDISCS at a store in 2024. Now, of course, it was a vintage shop, but what's really interesting about this is where I live, I've never seen LASERDISCS in a store or a vintage shop around me. It's always been very sparse, maybe never that I've actually seen them at all. Now, I know in probably some areas like New York and other places, you could probably find them at pawn shops and Goodwills a lot, because I feel like LASERDISC was a format that probably sold well in the more higher income states back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. So for me to find LASERDISC in Louisiana, it's just interesting, especially, you know, not New Orleans. I'll just say that. I don't want to say what town I live in on the internet, but yeah, so this was a really cool occasion. I actually wanted to show you guys what I, picked up. But if you're new to the channel, I should say that, for a long time, if you go on my YouTube channel and look me up from the first few years I was doing YouTube, I was a massive LASERDISC collector. As a matter of fact, there's my collection back there. And as you can see, I've collected a lot of LASERDISCs. I've collected a lot of movies that I loved from actors that I love, like Chevy Chase. I get a lot of horror LASERDISCs. I like to finish off classic series like Back to the Future and things like that. And there's a lot of great LASERDISCs. The reason I liked LASERDISC was because it was really the first film fans format at the time. It was widescreen, there was audio commentaries, you could skip scenes. A lot of the things that we're used to today were founded on the LASERDISC format, and it's probably the most influential home video format of all time, in my opinion. I'm a huge fan of LASERDISC, and I always will be. So what happened was, the other day, I was going into one of these vintage shops that I kind of frequent every so often, and I was trying to pick up some records. And if I could hold your attention for just a second, I'll show you some of the ones I picked up. Here's Houdini's Escape. The Freaks Come Out at Night is one of my favorite jams, so I picked that up. And then I got some Uriah Heep. Old school Uriah Heep, can't go wrong with that. And then happily, I finished off my Alice Cooper vinyl collection. The very first record Alice put out, Pretties for You, was the last record I needed, ironically enough. So now I have a complete Alice Cooper vinyl collection, which is something I'm pretty proud of. I love Alice Cooper. As I was going through the vinyls, I kind of got to where the end of the line was, where it was Z in alphabetical order, but I noticed this crate underneath the shelf, and I was like, oh, let me look at that. And sure enough, it was LASERDISC. I couldn't believe it. The prices were even cooler. $2-3 for LASERDISCs. So I picked up some really cool ones, and we'll look at them. These are all ones, obviously, that I don't own, because LASERDISC is not typically a format like 4K or Blu-ray, where you get, different releases because one has special features and things like that. Now, it happens. Sometimes I would get... There are a few occasions where I have like a multi, special version that Universal used to put out for a movie that I might have had a pan and scan for, but anyway... Here's the first one I got. This is Commando, and I was really happy to get this because my Schwarzenegger LASERDISC collection is not that big. As a matter of fact, this was a title I actually thought I owned, and as a matter of fact, I didn't. So this is the CBS Fox Laser Video Disc, and what's great about LASERDISC, if you've never seen these before, is the images are on the back. This isn't the best example, but you'd always get more images on the back of a LASERDISC promoting the film and showcasing the scenes from the movie, more so than a VHS. Commando was somewhat of Schwarzenegger's response to First Blood and Rambo 2, and some say they prefer this over the Rambo style of films because these are obviously a lot more comedic, and just depending on the day is the one I would say is the cooler one. Stallone is really great at that intense anger, but Schwarzenegger is so funny. My favorite line is, "I eat green berets for breakfast," in this film. Over the top, great action. Commando is fantastic, and it's really cool. And I paid $4 for Commando. $4. So, yeah, that was really cool. And another LASERDISC I got was this right here. And I've never seen this movie. I got a Al Pacino film from 1990 called Sea of Love. So, and I paid $3 for this one. I'll pull the wrap off, that way you can kind of see it better. Yeah, the idea of getting a Pacino film on LASERDISC is a no-brainer to me, and especially when it's a movie that I haven't seen. Now, here's an example of how cool the artwork is on the back. You get full pictures of everything. There's Al and his love interest, but what really sucked me in was John Goodman down there. So the fact that I see John Goodman in here means, oh, I've got to see this movie. Siskel and Ebert gave it 2 thumbs up, though, so that's good. And here's a small plot synopsis of this film. Al Pacino makes his triumphant screen return in this critically acclaimed erotic thriller, which I just did a video on thrillers, and I hadn't seen this, so now this was fate. When I saw this, I had to grab it. Veteran New York City police detective Frank Keller is a workaholic living on the edge, joining forces with a Long Island detective, John Goodman, to track down a bizarre serial killer. He encounters a beautiful suspect, Ellen Barkin. Convinced of her innocence, Keller enters into a passionate affair despite hard evidence linking her to the murders. Mounting suspense lead to a surprising conclusion in the stylish thriller. That sounds fantastic. I can't wait to watch this. Now, the issue is, you ready to hear this? My LaserDisc player just broke, so I have to get another one. And it's something I tried to look at and fix. I'm somewhat of a patch-up electrician, meaning I can take something apart and try to see. If I can't figure it out, I'll talk to my dad about it, and if he can't figure out, we deem it dead. But I tried with my LaserDisc player. Unfortunately, it's toast. But yeah, this is really cool. Sea of Love with Al Pacino. I've never heard of this. So yeah, definitely excited to check this out. And I'm really into the 90s thrillers. I did a video on this, and I basically was saying, you know, like, I think that the thriller genre is really just an extension of the horror genre from where it left off in the 80s. It's just the transitional time, and I don't think thriller is a dirty word anymore. I used to, but I think it is a beautiful era of horror. Thriller horrors, thriller, you know, the psychological thriller. I think it's just a brand of horror, and quite frankly, there are amazing movies in there, and I'm hoping Sea of Love is just yet another one, because John Goodman, Al Pacino, how the hell could you go wrong with that? So here's a comedy film I picked up. The rest of these are really cool. I saved the absolute best for last, too. I got this for $3. I got a movie called Stakeout with Richard Dreyfuss and Emilio Estevez. With 2 cast members like that, again, I said to myself, I can't go wrong. Now, this is from, let's see if I can find a year on this. Of course, there's no year on the back. It's clearly from the early 80s or late 80s. Sometime in the 80s, I can't really tell. But this is a pan and scan, I can tell. It's a 2-disc album, is what it says. But what that really means is it's on 2 laser discs. So it's a longer movie. And this is probably CAV. Maybe it's CLV, it's just a long movie, I'm not sure. But if anybody's seen this, let me know. Acclaimed director John Badman delivers a winning combination of action, suspense, comedy, and romance. Convinced that a dangerous escaped convict is headed to the home of his ex-girlfriend, a pair of Seattle detectives stake out her apartment. The watch remains routine until one of the detectives begins a high-risk romance with the woman under surveillance, jeopardizing not only the partners' careers, but also their lives. So cool finding some laser discs, man. The last one, my jaw hit the floor when I found it. Okay. I need somebody to tell me how good this movie is, because if it's really, really good, I'm going to have to go get a Blu-ray or a 4K if they made one of it. This is a movie. The artwork made me just be like, oh, this has to be great. Black Rain. Michael Douglas. I know who Michael Douglas is, but the idea of seeing something with him called Black Rain just sounded amazing to me. And the cast on the back looks sensational. This is 1989. This just sounds and looks like an absolute home run. So I'm hoping you guys can give me some information on this movie. Director Ridley Scott, who created 2 of Hollywood's most impactful and stylish adventure thrillers, Alien and Blade Runner, hits the mark again in Black Raid. Academy Award winner Michael Douglas and Andy Garcia play New York cops whose job to escort a vicious assassin back to his native Japan leads to 2 Americans in Osaka's exotic underworld and straight into the center of raging brutal Yakuza gangland battle. That sounds sensational. That sounds so cool. So yeah, Black Rain, when I saw that, I was like, dude, I've got to get that. And when I was going through the LaserDisc, I was kind of flipping through pretty quick because I had been in there for a while, so I needed to get out of there. And so I said, let me make sure I didn't miss anything. And when I went through, I realized I passed over one that I was really excited to get. When I saw this, I was so excited because this is, I hate the word underrated. I think it's used way too often. This is truly an underrated movie. It's sealed. It's not even open. I got it for $3. Jack Nicholson's Wolf. Yeah, deluxe widescreen presentation. So by the early 90s, Laserdisc was so accustomed to putting things out the way you would see it theatrically. The directors approved sizing of the film, whether it's 234, 185. Directors had a lot of say over how their movies came out on Laserdisc. You were seeing every drop of the image that you would see in the theater, as opposed to pan and scan and zoomed in stuff on VHS tapes. And this movie is sensational. Wolf, Michelle Pfeiffer, Jack Nicholson, 1994. If you haven't seen this, I loved it. And I just realized too, I forgot about that. Niles from Frasier is in this movie. And I love how all the write-ups on the back of this. This is what made Laserdisc so cool too. Is, you know, this is an entire write-up you would get like in a 4K release special edition with like a little booklet, and you get a lot of cool information. That's on the back of this. But to get something sealed in a store like this for a few bucks is incredible. Yeah, and it's still sealed. But I'm gonna try to play it when I get my player situated. I don't know if it's anything like vinyl. Like vinyl, you're really not supposed to keep that stuff sealed for very, very long. It'll actually damage and I think warp the vinyl over time. But Laserdisc is a hell of a lot thicker and sturdier, so maybe I'd be okay. But yeah, that is freaking cool. So yeah, I found that and my jaw hit the floor because I was so excited to grab Wolf. That's a movie I'm hoping gets a really nice 4K in America because it's a good movie. But yeah, great cast, great movie. Jack Nicholson's Wolf. So guys, that is pretty cool. So I got some cool movies, and the one I'm the most excited to watch the second I can is definitely Al Pacino's Sea of Love. I've never seen this movie whatsoever, and it's got the great John Goodman in it. So very exciting, guys. So I just wanted to take you on a little trip with me and just kind of share my excitement for finding Laserdiscs in 2024 in a store. So in Louisiana, mind you. So thank you guys for watching this video. I do hope you found this fun, and if you have any opinions on those movies, please let me know down below, and I'd love to hear it. This is your old pal CHH. If you enjoy these kinds of videos, please, please, please let me know by giving it a thumbs up, dropping a comment down below, and if you're a fan of Laserdisc, I'd love to know too. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Huge, giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind-the-scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.